Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. This video is going to be a little different than my other ones. It's just going to be me talking about being a clan lead, starting my own clan, starting an alliance, and slowly growing it. Um, because I run a social clan, and essentially, what is a social alliance as well? Uh, for those that it matters, current year is 2022. Things may change for Warframe in the future, but as of right now, um, I've looked at some of the guides on YouTube, which is where you guys are from, and clan YouTube, uh, the clan YouTube guides I was never really fond of. But there are lots of how-to guides, how to upgrade the clan, basics of recruiting and whatnot. So I'm going to speak more on the philosophy of it and why I chose to be the size that am. Right now, we're a Storm clan. We're currently re-expanding. Our clan has gone up and down. The highest that we ever were was a Mountain clan, so keep that in mind. I do not have a Moon clan. And our alliance probably has about 400, 500 people in it. I could obviously do the math right now, but it's less than 400, I'm pretty sure. And we do have a mountain clan. Um, Most of these clans, with the exception of the biggest clan, which is not mine, um, I helped start, I helped fund. I encountered most of these people at very low MR levels and helped them fund their clan, helped them level themselves. But I'm just going to share some of my philosophy and uh, basically around the idea of whether or not, if you are a new player or maybe an experienced player, to maybe give some insight on whether or not you should start your own clan. And some basics you need to know, more of the mental game of it. And some of the things that you can consider, what type of clan you're going to have. Like, again, I chose social. Maybe you want a more uh, fast speed clan and you want to do maybe leaderboards or be more task specific, like be a bunch of Eidolon hunters. You can be anything you want to be in this game. Like, there's even clans centered around anime, apparently. Wafu something. Um, but I like the idea personally of a social clan. The game's supposed to be fun. There's no real big bad enemy in Warframe. There's no, like, the leaderboards, they exist. But does anybody care? Like, we're not collecting rewards from it. We're not collecting titles. Like, one time I went and got uh, rank 1 on ESO for that week's rotation. I didn't get anything for it, except for a nice screenshot. Me and a couple of the people in the clan and alliance went and did it. Uh, but right now for Warframe, if you are just starting out Warframe, I would highly advise against starting your own clan. Just because the resource costs are not that high. They can get extremely high. But for somebody just starting out where you don't have enough frames, you're still building weapons, resource farming is a big deal. If you are solo and you're just playing Warframe by yourself, I would advise against doing a clan. Now, the exception to this would be, say you and 3 of your buddies start Warframe together. In that case, I would highly recommend building your own clan. Tiny little ghost clan. Maybe join a ghost clan centered alliance. I know there's a couple. These would be excellent options then. So if you have friends and all of you are farming together and you're all leveling together and you're all playing together and doing missions together, Ghost Clan would be right for you. So that's the two caveats in terms of a yes or no based on your MR. That being said, as soon as you open your clan, and to go into a little bit of a story, for a long time my clan was a solo clan. It was just me, and there was technically another guy. Like, there was definitely a second member, but I think he got up to like 1,000 days not played. Like, or his last logon was like 1,000 days. So technically, it wasn't a solo clan, but really, it was just me. But I knew him like from elsewhere. Like, we played games like League of Legends together, but Warframe he just didn't like it, and he was having computer issues. But the first person that made me choose to invite them is actually kind of a funny story. It was when Railjack came about, if you remember that. It's been a couple years now. When Railjack first started, I think they've patched it, but there was a glitch. Not necessarily a bug, but it was just an interaction that wasn't supposed to happen. And if you didn't have a clan, it wasn't my situation because obviously I had my own clan. But if you didn't have a clan or access to a private dry dock, I was running missions with just randoms on a Railjack, and I was running any node on, I think, Vale Proxima, like we were just farming. And I literally got dropped into this guy's Railjack, right? So you just join a random crew, we're running missions, we run missions for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it's whatever. And we're like, okay, we're done. Or like, he wants to leave, and it's like, okay, whatever, we'll just go back to the dry dock, I'll jump on a different crew, not a big deal. Except he starts selecting Cetus, and then the next one is Tavuni on the Kuva Fortress, and then the next one is Io Jupiter, and then Cassini Saturn, and he's just clicking stuff, and it's like Fortuna, and the guy actually didn't belong to a clan, and he had figured out just by running around the map that in the showcase dojos, you were able to build your own Railjack in somebody else's dojo. But the problem is it was his maiden flight, and he had never tried to land before his own Railjack, and he couldn't land because he didn't have a dojo to go back to. And this is before they had them in the relays, and I'm pretty sure this is specifically why they're in the relays now. So I had a spot for him, invited him to the clan, ta-da, we could land. So that was why, out of necessity, I gained my first like permanent member. The guy's no longer in the clan though, but it was a funny story. So that was like how my cherry got popped in terms of like becoming like a proper warlord, like first clan member. Out of pure necessity. I then recruited slowly, and my recruiting, and I guess I could talk about recruiting. I have a very slow but personal way of recruiting people. Only until recently have I recruited essentially random people. Before, what my method was, and I might go back to it exclusively, is being the MR that I am back when I was leveling still, because I took a long break from Warframe, like a really long one. But when I was trying to get people into the clan, I wanted it to be, because everything was researched, I wanted it to be something that a new person, as a casual clan, they could just use and abuse. Something where it didn't have any taxes. I've never had taxes on my trades. Anybody that's in my clan, if we need something, I'm the most likely person to farm it. And generally, it's just faster for me to do it. So I've never had trade taxes. teach people how to trade. I'd teach people how to farm. I'd help them do the star chart, teach them how to do bosses, the entire thing. I would basically be like a walking Wikipedia. Um, but my method, particularly for me, uh, for farming new bros, but for getting to know people and to get them into the clan if they wanted to, very low pressure. There's plenty of people that I'm still friends with where I first met them when they were like MR2, MR3, and they're like in the mid 20s now. Was literally, I would just do low level mission nodes on Earth every now and then. Find somebody who's like MR0, MR1, and just do some missions with them. To be honest, I'm not even sure who gets more out of it, me or them nowadays. Because when you find somebody, especially somebody younger, they're so impressed with Warframe, it kind of makes you like their joy is contagious, especially if they're younger, and you start to feel that sense of, wow, this is a big game coming from the newer people. But it makes you want to do a better job. So I would just run some missions with them, just be a little bit social. Maybe other people in the clan would want to help, and they'd run missions with them too. But I've always had a policy, personally, of if somebody has a friend, if they're so impressed with Warframe that they convince one of their friends to join Warframe, I see absolutely no problem whatsoever with that person's friend joining my clan. The clan is for everybody. Any stuff that could do like permanent damage to the clan is locked away by people that I basically know, like IRL, or like I've played with for years. Like most of the authority positions, but like even the base person, like the new bro status, and I'll show you even the newest person can invite. Every single person in my clan can invite, and we're at like 38 people right now. I just upgraded the clan out of Storm. So even the very youngest person can invite a friend to the clan. And if they message me, I message in clan chat every day. Good morning, good afternoon. Does anybody need any help? After a while, like a younger person, like MR wise younger, would say yes a lot of times. Hey, I need help with the specific boss, and I'll tell them where the resources are to look that stuff up, but I'll obviously tell them the first time. And eventually, they don't need my help anymore. Like, once you give somebody the tools to do something, eventually they just learn how to use the tools, and they become more effective players. So, like just recruiting, going back to recruiting, my philosophy has always been, don't use recruit chat, though if somebody's like a returning player or something like that, and they're like, hey, I just need a place to hang my hat on until I get my feet back under and somebody to ask some questions to, I'm down with that too. Obviously, I'm reasonable. But generally, most people in my clan, I met when they were like MR2, MR3, almost all of them, with some very few exceptions. And because of that, sorry, 1 second. And because of that, even with the people that have left my clan, I still game with them. And I've always had a policy, and it's part of the reason why I have an alliance. And I just came out with 3 monster farming how-tos. If you need the info, check them out. If you don't, Obviously don't. And you know, if you know how to farm, by all means. Um, but I've always had a policy because I'm one of the older players. I know I'm not the oldest, but like I'm definitely in the top category. If somebody is in my clan and they get to like the 20s and they're like, "Man, I've always wanted to do like my own clan." I will tell them flat out, "Hey, if you want to do your own clan, let me help you with the resources. So start your clan. I'll bring you into the alliance. I will give you all of the resources to fund your ghost clan except for pigments because I cannot help you with that. You will be able to do all of your research so that should you decide to leave the alliance, you will have all of the research and it will be as much quote unquote boots on the ground running as possible so you can skip over the slog of the resource farms. And if somebody's like MR20, like they'll be able to do it. But if I can farm it up 3-4 times faster, and this is somebody that I have like a connection through the game with, and I have nothing to do, I have no problem farming for that person. Like there have been times where like even though my clan is like a storm clan, um, like the Moon clan has needed resources, and I've given them like millions of polymer or like plastids, nanos, whatever they need, they'll get it. I mean, at my level, the effort is equivalent to, or the value of something is equivalent to how much effort I have to put into it. So it's like, it's the equivalent of like, what is $100 worth to you? Well, it depends on if you're homeless or if you're a millionaire, you know? In this game, I would count as a millionaire. So $100 isn't worth anything to me. So if somebody's starting out, the value of what they need is essentially what $100 is actually worth to me. So my philosophy has always been if somebody wants to start out and they've put work in and they've like contributed to like the dojo decorations and I'm sitting in one of the rooms, I will just flat out fund their clan when they go to a ghost clan, tell them not to upgrade to the next tier, start recruiting. I'll teach them how to recruit, or like at least my way of recruiting, and tell them a couple of different ways and send them on their way. It's not a big deal. And if they decide to leave, say they want to start their own alliance, that happened twice. One's doing really well. The one person has like 2,500 people in their alliance, and the other one just decided to stay small, but they invited 2 more ghost clans into their alliance, and that's cool too. So I guess going more on recruiting, and just circling back to it. Um, Being your own clan lead can be incredibly rewarding. The limit to how rewarding it is, even though this is a game, at an absolute minimum, it can be viewed as a mental exercise. The skill cap for being a good clan lead has no cap. So you can just view this as like a mental exercise, just like a place to practice to be a better leader if you want. Obviously, it is not required. Everybody's been in those moon clans where there's a leader, there's a couple of really edgy people, like Hardline that drank the punch, where it's more about the authority, and there's like an official recruiter. Now there are some benefits if you have like some elitists. Generally, they'll have like platinum competitions where it's like maybe like a fashion frame, or they'll trade for like resources or something like that. That can be pretty cool. That can definitely help out a new person. But me personally, I'd rather the person know how to make the plat, like which is more valuable to them. And that's part of the reason why I started this YouTube channel. Is so if somebody has a question in the clan, I get asked questions, and that's why I came out with that huge endo video, and then immediately I came out with a 30-second video on how to slot Ayatan stars in, is because like somebody that was MR8 was like, "Oh, hey, I saw your video on endo. How do I put the stars in?" And I'm like, oh shit, you don't have auto install. So he thought it was a picture of the Iatan, when in reality it's something you could grab and rotate around. I forgot. So it's good to refresh and talk to people and keep the information accurate. But find your own way for recruiting. I chose a very slow, very personal, time sink way of recruiting. You can obviously blow up a clan in size super quick with the new tools. Like literally, um, just you to probably a moon clan in literally like 5 months of like half-assing it. Nobody's gonna know each other though, and to me that sucks. We decided to stay the size that we are, and I'm moving us back toward the 100 player mark. Because when I talk to all of the people in my clan, all of them, and messaged them, hey, listen, what do you think the clan size should be? I'm not really partial on it, but I want to make sure you guys are happy. Do you feel like 30 people is enough? And they're like, well, I have a couple of friends and other clans that want to come over, but we don't have space. Okay, what if we went to 100 people? And like everybody got to invite their friends into this clan. And as soon as we upgraded, within like an hour, there were 8 new people in the clan. So essentially, we added like 30%. Just people inviting friends into the clan. And that sounds fantastic to me. I would rather have a 100-person clan where it's nothing but friends playing with each other than have a clan with 1,000 people and nobody knows each other. It just doesn't make any sense to have 1,000 people in a clan and nobody has a clue who anybody else is. I would rather have 30 people where everybody's friends and they have like their own little cliques, and so like when everybody logs on, it's 4 people playing together. I would rather that 1,000 times over the Moon Clan. But that's me. Maybe you want 1,000 people. Maybe you see some extra value in it. Um, it's just my personal take on it. So we've decided to go back to a 100-person clan, but it's because I surveyed everybody that would literally talk to me. Um, so that's my philosophy on like the size of clans. Um, why the alliance was created. The necessity of being generous with your time a little bit. Uh, I guess maybe because I have the extra free time is because I'm not really an Eidolon hunter. I can, but like I was always a 5x3 kind of person. I never could get the 6x3 rhythm down. I know what it is. I know how to do a 6x3, but I could never get the coordination down. So I mostly did survivals. I'm at the point now where I'm not really locked out of any level cap content due to skill. I can identify a build that will make it or not. I know how to test for it. I even made a video for it because somebody was asking, like, what's a good build? I was like, well, okay, blah, blah, blah. I answered their question, and then I made the video of how somebody could then tell themselves, go test for it, which I find infinitely more valuable than just making 1,000 build videos. Just tell somebody how to do it. You know, that give a man a fish they can eat for a day, teach them how to fish, sort of thing. I would rather just teach them how to fish. Because for the love of God, there's so many videos on Warframe where it's literally telling you how to do like one specific thing, and it's like, oh, fill in the blank YouTuber comes out with the exact same combo count build, combo counter quick attack build. Here's their level cap video. Like, of course it does. It's literally a stronger weapon than the last one you posted. It's slash based, and you're doing the exact same thing. Make sure to equip Prime Smite. Um, so I would rather just teach how to do the actual stuff, the actual content yourself, and at least explain um, how you can figure it out yourself, because that's where you can actually start to enjoy Warframe. Is being able to look at weapons, know how to build them, And once you start seeing weapons as tools against specific enemies, once you see that most Grineer weapons are good against Corpus, and most Corpus weapons are good against Grineer, you can start figuring out how to build that weapon more effectively. And the Infested are good against Corpus and Grineer, generally. So there's Prime. There's a lot of Prime weapons that are specifically good against the Infested. There's lore reasons why this stuff is this way. So there's a bunch of stuff that like where you can actually see and get like the lore behind specific things. A lot of weapons are really interesting when you know like the lore behind like who developed this weapon, why it's specifically built this way, like. So once you start seeing how something is built, you can start figuring out where to build it or where to build it for, and you will massively enjoy Warframe more. So I think about stuff like that when I'm helping clanmates. It ends up being way more long-winded. Like, I honestly thought this video was going to be kind of short, and I'm already at 26 minutes because I love to talk so much. But for running a clan, let me just drag it back in. The skill cap for being a clan lead and an alliance lead has no cap. At an absolute minimum, it's a thought exercise. You have to be willing to just accept, regardless of the situation, everything that you give out to somebody is a gift. Don't expect any reciprocity. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm capped at 180 Rivens out of 180 Riven slots. If I get one Riven, I can't do sorties. So a lot of times when I get a Riven from the sortie, it's literally dependent on me giving that Riven out to somebody else. I literally won't charge them plat, like 99% of the time. But if it's somebody that I know that has plat and is more advanced, maybe we'll talk plat them. But if it's somebody that's like MR10, MR13, they're getting a free Riven. Even if it's for something good, like a Brahma or like a Stropha or something. Like right now I have a Nadaruk Riven I'm trying to give to somebody. It's fire rate, damage, punch through. It's a damn good 3+ Riven. So it's better than Prime Tread. So it is one of those things. You have to have your own sort of principles on like how things are going to be handled, and even if it kind of sucks sometimes, where you're going to learn to defend yourself is not by building personal walls and like punishing people. Not only does that not work on principle, it's also damaging to the clan. You need to figure out how to identify people that are trying to take advantage of your generosity. Like, one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was when they aren't in the clan anymore. But we did have one person, and I learned the lesson from it, but I did get hit the first time with it, where they were asking me for prime parts. And I'm thinking, like, oh, they're trying to complete sets, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I had, like, a mental reason, right? But what was actually happening is where I thought they were power leveling, what they were actually doing was selling. It was the first time I encountered it. I know it's obvious to anybody who runs a clan now, but I'm just giving an example. The first time it happened, I didn't see it. And not that it cost me plat, but the intended purpose of me giving this stuff is to help somebody advance in the game. And they were buying cosmetics. They weren't even buying slots or anything. So the only rule that I really have in terms of my generosity on here is, say, like the Nadaruk Riven. I will find somebody who is actively using the weapon, and I will then give them that Riven. So as long as somebody is using it, as long as them getting a Riven or, say, like a prime part, if it's vaulted and I have a bunch of the relics and they need like one relic or one part for like the Glaive Prime or something, or like the Cronin Prime, where it's like kind of a big deal, um, I have no problem farming that up for them. Like with them, I'll just go run vaulted relics. Talking about like farming resources, if you start your own clan, assume you're doing it yourself. A ghost clan is entirely feasible to farm up yourself. If you need help with farming like resources, I came out with those 3 videos. They're very long-winded, but it's probably the most comprehensive breakdown of how to farm in Warframe that I could think of. Like maybe I'll think of stuff later, but like I know what when I got to the end of those videos, I couldn't think of a better way to have explained that stuff. And I went all the way up, starting from like 101's how to identify nodes, synergies and groups like Warframes, and then finally like super sweaty stuff like like the most expensive thing in Warframe resource wise is literally decorating dojos. I'm not even joking. It's literally the most expensive thing resource wise. It doesn't cost you plat. It doesn't cost you forma. Obviously, the room does. Um, but in terms of like, oh, you think you're hot shit with like your 20 million plastids, bro? The rocks cost 20K in here. You know, I thought I was fine with like 15 million plastids, and I got through a room and a half, and bingoed out. Like there's some random stuff that gets really expensive, like the rocks in this room, 1,500 plastids a pop. You know, so it adds up. Like in terms of resource farming, decorating is the most expensive resource farm in the game. So that's why it was the last one that I made. So if you need help with resources, either have friends, which is the ultimate answer to everything. Go with 4 and go farm a resource, and everybody's in the clan and everybody donates. It's the easiest answer to it. Just get your rooms built, build one of each one, pick whatever design you want. It doesn't matter. You can use teleporters. I redecorated and redesigned the entire dojo from scratch. We took it all the way back down to the starting clan over 3 days and literally built everything up again. So because we did that, we ended up being able to make it significantly more symmetric. It's not a perfect design, but it is our design. It's what the clanmates designed on, and they like this dojo design better. Anything that needs a teleport pad got a teleport pad. And we all decided on the 4 seasons. So like this side is winter, this side is summer, and we wanted the entire dojo designed this way. So you can see like the little bleed over, but like this side is summer, this side is cold, but they wanted like a tunnel. Like everything was in the mountain, so that's why the ceiling is the way it is. See, cold. And this side's summer, right? So it's what everybody wanted. It's what got voted on, so it's what everybody got. And I don't know, you just have to figure out once you get your first couple of members, the clan on its own will get into have its own natural rhythm. And if this is your first time leading or managing, however you view this, I would honestly suggest just letting it form its natural rhythm. Like if it's a bunch of adults that have jobs, okay, they'll naturally be online more on weekends or maybe in afternoons. If they're kids, like in high school or whatnot, they'll have their rhythm after school, weekends. Then you'll have people like in other parts of the world where they'll be on in the middle of the night, and then you have me where I work third shift, so I'm a night owl, so it's midnight right now, and this wouldn't even count as lunch for me at work. So the clan itself will naturally develop its rhythm. Um, my only advice to helping that out is add people to the clan that play when you do. It doesn't matter if there's 10 people in the clan. If each of them play 2 hours a day, there is actually a possibility nobody will ever see each other. So try not to use the recruiting advertisement too much. Obviously, if you're trying to get numbers up, by all means, throw it on. Um, but just have people that are on. It's better to have 5 people on at the same 6 hours of the day, or 3 hours of the day, or 2 hours of the day, than to have 5 people scattered throughout the day and nobody ever sees each other. So just find people that play when you do. Um, so everything lines up so there's groups that can play. Obviously, multiples of 4 are ideal. So if you have like 5 people in the clan and everybody tries to play together, maybe consider getting 3 more people in the clan so it's at least 2 even groups. But that's super small clan stuff. It's an experience, and I would encourage anybody, if they have the time or care to do it, make sure you have the resources available. It's all available on the wiki. To at least start a clan once, even if it bombs, even especially if it bombs, it's a better learning experience. I mean, what's the worst that happens? Everybody leaves? Okay, figure out why. Start another clan or start recruiting from scratch again. So, just don't do it if you're by yourself and like a super low MR, and you should be good. In the text box below the video, I found another YouTuber that made a pretty comprehensive literal how-to. It's old. It's from 2017, but it's still relevant. And it's like Xbox and everything. But like in terms of like the straight up mechanics of like researching how to research, the quick way of how to recruit. I saw him using Recruit Chat. Um, Ascension ceremonies, all of the nitty gritty how to stuff. He actually makes a really good video series on it. So I'm gonna link that in the text box below. If for whatever reason you got 40 minutes into this video, um, that's what that link is. But yeah, it's an experience. I would recommend, if you have the time or the effort and you're playing, you find you really enjoy Warframe, to take some of that knowledge that you've gained and help somebody else with it. It's cathartic at a minimum. But anyway, y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for watching if you made it this far.